When they started taking the walls down, I was like, oh my God, what have we done? Because, I didn't think it was going to be ready that close to the deadline of the classes starting. Everything was completely gutted, so it was empty, bare walls. And then it started rebuilding, and then it was positive to see the rebuild. You could gradually see the different rooms coming. So it was nice to see the plan that we laid out together with HDR, that it came to life basically. You could see the rooms coming up and the different stations coming up, so that was exciting to see.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the construction crew did a heck of a job getting done on time. They were literally pulling down the old labs as we were finishing out classes, so it was a very chaotic scene. You know, we had classes finishing up and literally the walls were coming down next door at the exact same time.
We definitely got to see a large transformation from a pretty old facility. Then we got to see, originally the thing that took us was the aesthetics, that everything was looking a lot nicer and a lot really more beautiful, the glass and the new countertops and structures. But then as we started getting our classes going is when we really started noticing how much more functional everything was, and it allowed us to really do the types of activities that we were wanting to before but couldn't within our previous spaces.
And then the first day of class was interesting. Well, finding your way around the technology, first of all, was, you know, it can be challenging, but it went well. But then, yeah, seeing the students come into the labs as well the first lab was interesting, where we could use technology here, we could put things out, we could do things different than we used to do.
Originally, when we looked at actually doing the renovation, we weren't really looking at doing a very in-depth renovation. We thought that we might do some facilities repair kind of a thing, and then also we wanted to bring our technical capabilities, our equipment, that kind of thing, up to sort of modern standards. So we had some equipment that was very out of date. We had some facilities that were a little bit out of date, and so it was just time for an upgrade. And then the university made the decision to go with a much more intensive upgrade. And so what we ended up with is a facility that's really top-notch, with some top-notch equipment that's going to go into it.
TVs are all integrated with the microscopes. We have broadcast systems up of multiple TVs per classroom, all integrated to Apple TV, so that we can have students using tablets and displaying information to all these TVs. They can be displaying their microscope images up. So this allows us to collaborate amongst the classroom and really have projects going where students are able to display their data, display their images, and discuss throughout the classroom, and do that in a novel way that we weren't able to do before. But we also have the capacity to do distance learning and hybrid courses where we're able to do online and in-person components to a class. And this is able to expand upon our current science programs that have an online component to really give the online students the same kind of benefits they would have in the classroom.
You can already see it when they're coming in. They feel like they're part of a real lab, a real modern lab and a state-of-the-art lab. When they go into industry or go in academics, they'll be well prepared to know what's out there, what kind of technologies out there. They'll have seen technologies, they have put them in place in the labs, etc. So just the feeling of being in a real lab, being in a real life situation is the big difference, I think.
We're still in the purchasing phase for a lot of our equipment. A lot of the more expensive equipment we still haven't purchased yet, just because they are major capital items. For instance, DNA sequencer. If we have a DNA sequencer, they can run their own DNA sequences off of projects either in the classroom or from their thesis research. Right now, most students, if they're getting exposed to DNA sequencing at all, it's in theory, or if they do DNA sequencing, typically what's happening at most universities is they'll do it and then it's sent off to a core facility that actually does the sequencing. So their experience with actually working with the sequencer is very, very limited. If we have the sequencer here, they'll have hands-on experience using the sequencer, and that's quite a bit different than sending it off and having somebody else do it. The other thing that we're really looking at is redesigning the curriculum based around research. Doing a curriculum-based undergraduate research experience is what they call it.
Right now we do a lot of lab courses where we use some of the equipment, but the vision is to have some actual research projects that students come and they participate in that. We do independent studies now with the students, but sometimes that's only for a short period of time. and it's a 12-week period at the most. And then students come and have to set everything up. And by the time they set everything up and plan the experiment, they're halfway through the term, and then they have only half a term to do the experiments. So if we have some continuous research projects going, then students can come and jump in, and there's already active research going on. They get the full experience, they get to do more interesting and fun stuff instead of just setting up experiments. So getting those projects going, getting that research going, that's the exciting part. And that's what we get some of the future equipment for in the SR&D space, setting that up. That'll be very exciting to see that evolving as well.
We're getting the facilities up and running so that we can really collaborate with other institutions. And that was one of the things the faculty here was really wanting to get up and going, is some research collaborations with industry and other academic partners. But before we had this innovation, it was really a one-sided collaboration. We weren't actually able to contribute. We were mooching, for lack of a better word. But now that we have the facilities, we're able to train students that can be active participants, and we want to use what we have here to seek out those collaborations in order to promote better opportunities for our students to learn and engage in real science.